When you're not talked about, you think you're not worth talking about. You do think you're wrong. You think there's something wrong with you because no one's telling you there isn't. My name is Mama G, and I am a storytelling pantomime dame. I called myself Mama G because it's based on Mother Goose, but it sounds a bit cooler. And it occurred to me that Mother Goose, as a character created by Charles Perrault in the 1700s in France, is a storyteller. And so I thought, well, it's obvious. I'll tell stories.
It's story time with Mama G. Come and hear a story with me. Love who you want to be who you are. Learn these lessons and we'll go far. It's story time. Story time with Mama G. Here we go. Once upon a time.
Pantomime dame is a character from the British theatrical tradition of pantomime, and we are a mother character that is traditionally played by men, and it has existed since the early 1700s, so for a really long time. Unlike the name suggests, isn't mime at all. It's a very loud, very big, very spectacular extravaganza that involves lots of comedy, lots of songs, lots of dancing, and fundamentally, lots of joining in.
We bring you moments of culture and art. Culture and art. Welcome to the pantomime, a fairy tale for you.
I have been doing pantomime for 18 years. As a kid, I've always loved pantomime. It's such an exciting art form because it encompasses so many different things. But for me, the pantomime dame was always the most interesting character. I think because she's, as far as I'm concerned, the funniest. And I think I've always liked sort of the topsy-turviness of it, knowing that it's a bit bending the rules of society in a way that's permissible for the audience to watch and enjoy. It's really exciting.
Head to toe in sequins and places in between. Oh yes, if you want a spectacle, I'm the girl you gotta call. Nobody does it like me.
The UK has a really interesting history of drag in performance because it's existed for centuries. And of course, Shakespeare is apparently where we get the term drag from, because he would put in his scripts, so-and-so enters dressed as girl, which is where we get the acronym drag from. Our drag tradition in this country is at least 500 years old. Pantomime dames and the principal boy, which is the lady playing a male role, definitely they come under the umbrella of drag in terms of the basis of the performance, but a drag queen is different to a pantomime dame. And I think a good pantomime will have the pantomime dame and a woman dressed as a man, and then they balance each other.
Does it like Derek?
Mama J,
Derek,
Mama J,
Derek,
Mama J,
Derek,
Mama J, Mama J, Mama J, Mama J.
Thank you.
Pantomime creates a world where anything goes. That's the perfect place for drag to exist. So it's not a far stretch that there's a 6-foot man playing a mum character, and kids might need to have that explained to them within the first 5 minutes, but then if the role is being played right, they're just seeing a mum. And then potentially if they see, a drag queen or a trans person, ask less evasive questions and just be more, oh, lovely, there's a person living their life. And if I can help by being a panto dame, then it's a great big privilege.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Well, you've got a very fabulous jumper on. I'm glad you brought your pants with you. Hiya.
The storytelling is very specifically about inclusion and diversity.
Oh, we are about to go on a wonderful adventure.
I don't always tell stories that have LGBT characters or are aimed at LGBT families. And if a child grows up to be straight, have a wife and 2 kids, I want them to know that they're fine and I celebrate them, but they'll also have the respect and understanding that their gay best friend is allowed to live their life however they want.
So Sometimes people will try and tell you that who you want to be or who you want to love is wrong, and that can make you feel really sad. And whenever anybody tries to make me feel sad, I just think about what makes me happiest. And the thing that makes me happiest is being a pantomime dame and getting to stand up here and tell you all stories.
Not everyone agrees with what I do, because not everyone agrees that people like us should exist anyway. So I have had some backlash, but because pantomime is such an institution that we've all grown up with in the UK, it hasn't transferred across, because I think people see what I do as two separate things, which does mean, dare I say it, that when people are having a go at me, it is homophobic and it is transphobic, because actually I could tell that story on stage in Sleeping Beauty. They'd love it, have a nice 10 minutes because they're at a pantomime. Those are the brides, and that's their dog, Gloria. Well, it looks beautiful, doesn't it? A wedding is a party for love. 5 years ago, it didn't occur to me that this would be a problem. And I think over the years, especially the last year, the transphobia has just escalated. And I'm like, what can I do aside from carry on doing what I'm doing? We're making the world nicer. And why wouldn't they want the world to be a nice place, especially for their children?
And you know what? That book is so beautiful because it's a very simple reminder to all of us that when somebody tells you what they are, all you have to do is just believe them and understand them and go along with it. So thank you, Julian, and his name.
I grew up during Section 28, which was a law that existed in this country that said that teachers and schools couldn't promote homosexuality, which meant they couldn't have any literature in the school about it, they couldn't teach it, and more damagingly, teachers couldn't support students. I was legally hidden by the government, and so were all my generation. Being able to tell stories where people like me and trans people and queer people are the centre of the story, it's like a superpower, and it's like me claiming back those 15 years.
The most important thing is that you hop like you. Will you bob to the left and you bob to the right? You bob round and all through the night. Bob where you're seen or bob out of sight, but you bonny bob with all your might. Fabulous!
A person was watching me and they were getting very angry and very upset, and I was like, ooh, it's all about to go wrong. But afterwards they came up to me and they were like, thank you so much for that was excellent. And I was like, if you don't mind me saying so, you looked really angry the whole time, and I thought you were gonna come for me. And they went, oh my gosh, no, I wasn't angry at you. It's just, I'm 35 at my age at the time. And they were like, and it's the first time I ever heard myself in a story, and they just realized right there that they'd never been represented. And that's kind of why I do it. It's really important. I never want anyone to grow up and think they've never been seen or they've never been validated. So I did it, soz.
You're feeling fabulous, just like the rest of us. If you're feeling fabulous, then shout, I am, I am.
I think the thing that makes me proudest of what I do, just seeing the reaction from parents, just knowing that, like today, there are so many adults here, so many adults cared about their children's future and their children's understanding of the world, and all of those adults chose to make me the person that helped. That's so cool. I feel so honoured. It's such a privilege. And to think that these kids might leave today and just know the world is there for them, it's lovely, isn't it?
Big finish! Yeah!